With the release of Chapter 2, we're going to be getting 5 artifact slots. As a healer, you're wondering what are the best artifacts to use for healing. So in today's video, I'm going to be suggesting some of the best artifacts to use for healing. So let's get into it. For the first artifact on the list, you want to get the Page of Destiny artifact. If you get it to rank 200, that's a plus. If not, just get it to 160. This artifact has a lot of benefits from it. You get 5% power, 4% restoration, 3% health added to your base stats. That ability there, Revivify. When a group heals a player above 40% health, it places a stack of Revivify on them, max to 10 stacks for 30 seconds, and then refreshes total duration of existing stacks. If an affected player drops below 40% health, Revivify will be triggered, expending all stacks and healing for an amount based on Revivify stacks. So basically, you put in a safety heal on the group. If a player health drops below 40%, you're going to automatically heal that player without having to do anything. The more it stacks, as it says there, up to 10 stacks, it's going to heal for more. So that's very good. You know, it's just like electric having that safety heal. So you're going to have 2 safety heals if you're an electric healer. And that's very, very good. This artifact also increases healing from group heals by 20% for targets below 40% health. It also increased the healing done by Revivify. And the group heals up to 2 additional targets. So you can't go wrong with all those benefits you're getting with this artifact. So for the second artifact, you want to get the Purple Healing Ray. This is also a very good artifact. It gives 5% power, 4% restoration, and 3% health. With Purple Light, healing charges your Purple Healing Ray up to 4 times your total restoration with Purple Light. Once charged, your next priority heal or group heal gain new benefits and expends all Purple Light. So let's talk about the benefits here we get from the priority heal and group heal. We get Epinon's Grace here, the priority heal. You and your heal target gain a shield equal to 2 times your restoration, which absorbs 20% of incoming damage for 8 seconds. Resets the cooldown of priority heal and group heal and restores 20% power. So it resets in the priority heal and group heal so you can use it faster. So that extra 20% power going to come in very handy, especially when you're healing Elite and Elite Plus content, because the group takes a little more damage compared to regular content. And also that shield that procs on you and the player that taking the most damage, that 20% shield going to help out a little bit. Most likely it's going to be proccing on the tank because the tank is taking the most damage. So let's continue with Karis's Revitalization, the group heal. Places healing over time on you and your allies for 8 seconds. So that's very good. When you do a group heal, you're doing healing over time. That's very, very good. And it also increases the healing over time value by 25%. A lot of benefits from this artifact. For the third artifact, you want to get the Transformation card. This artifact will be very convenient to get since a lot of people use it already for DPSing. And if you happen to DPS, you might already have it, so you don't have to spend money out of your pocket or grind to get it. With the Transformation card, you get the following benefits: 3% health, 3% power, 3% restoration, 3% might, and 3% precision. With the Dark Bargain, you gain 20% critical chance and 30% critical magnitude on attacks and heals. Although this artifact reduces total damage and healing done by 15%, you're still going to be doing a lot more healing because of the critical chances and critical magnitude. With the critical chances, you're going to be getting more chances for your regular heals to crit, doubling the amount of healing that you get. Also with the 30% critical magnitude, when it crits, it's going to be bigger numbers for heals. So far, we have the Page of Destiny, the Purple Healing Ray, and the Transformation card for the first, second, and third slot. For the fourth and fifth slot now, you have a couple of options that you could use depending on what you want to do as a healer or what healing power you're using at the moment. So let's continue on with that. For the fourth slot, you have the option of using the Demon Fang. I have to level this one. I have to add this one to the list. I don't have it yet on my healer. I'm talking about it here. Demon's Bite. Every 12 seconds, hitting an enemy with a weapon attack empowers your weapon to deal additional damage to your primary target and restores power over time for the next 6 hits. So you could be doing some battle healing with this and also be regenerating a lot of power. Additional damage is equal to If you have it maxed out, they're going to be 8.8% of your restoration plus 2% of your precision. Power restored over time is equal to 2.4% of your restoration, and 1.6% of your precision. So when you're specking, you don't necessarily have to spec in precision for this. You could just spec into restoration just to get the benefits from it. Additionally, when you're affected by a shield and hitting an enemy, restoration is increased by 10% and precision is increased by 6%. So if you want to get the restoration from it for just regular healing, that 10% increase, just spec into restoration, which you normally do as a healer, and you'll get those benefits from it. For the 5th slot, you have the option of using the Clarion. With the Clarion, you get the following benefits: 5% restoration, 4% precision, and 3% health. With the restorative melody there, using the power of the Clarion, executing weapon attacks heals up to 4 nearby players with the lowest health for 7% of your priority heal. So you're going to all be using weapon attacks anyway when you're using your brawling mastery and so on, so you're going to be doing some healing. This effect is temporarily empowered when activating your weapon buff 30% of your priority heal. So you have to run a weapon buff when you're running this artifact to get that restorative melody, to get those extra heals. Let's talk about the Clarion's Guard. When you're empowered by weapon buff, target above 90% health healed by restorative melody receive a shield for 12 seconds. This shield's effectiveness is increased by 100%. Players can only benefit from this every 30 seconds. So you could prop a group shield for the 8 players. Make sure the players' health are above 95% health, and when you use a weapon buff, it's going to prop a good shield for the players. And then we have the last ability there, the Iron Smite. When you are empowered by weapon buff, weapon attacks deal 40% of your restoration and 12% of your precision as damage to all enemies near the targeted foe for every 6 seconds. So you don't necessarily need to spec into precision for this. You could just spec into restoration just to get a little extra damage and help out the group. There are some drawbacks to using this artifact that you must pay close attention to. If you're running this artifact as the main healer alone, so you're the only healer in the group, you'll be perfectly fine. With water healing and sorcery healing, you'll be fine if you're using the 4-man shield. However, if you're using celestial, electric, or nature and you're running 4-man shield, your 4-man shield overrides the Clarion artifact shield that Clarion's Guard here, so just pay close attention to that. Also, if you're running with another healer that's running the Clarion artifact, the Clarion Guard's ability may not always proc, so you may not get the full benefits from running an artifact. A very important point I want to make is that if you're running this artifact with an electric, celestial, or nature healer, the Clarion's Guard ability is not always going to proc when you use a weapon buff. The reason for this is because the electric, celestial, and nature healer 4-man shield overrides the Clarion Guard's 8-man shield, and if those powers 4-man shield is already active, the Clarion Guard's 8-man shield is not going to proc. So just pay close attention to that. You could run with a water healer and a sorcery healer because the Clarion's Guard shield overrides those 2 healer shield. The Clarion Guard needs a little reworking in order for it to work a little better, but it's still a good artifact. So another option you could use for the 4th slot is a Scrap the Soul Cloak if you want to do a supercharge regeneration build for the group to give back supercharge. You could be able to do this now because of the head mod that they gave us and so on, those ultimate head mods. So let's get into there. The Scrap of the Soul Cloak, 5% power, 4% health, 3% might. Soul Tap increases your maximum supercharge and supercharge generation by 27% and reduces supercharge ability cooldown by 22.5%. Restores 7% max supercharge after using supercharge ability. This does not stack with the extended supercharge tactical mod. So you could run this artifact also with the Black Adam ally, and you could do that supercharge regeneration build. I'll have that build coming up soon on the channel when they release the 5 artifact slots. You're running this artifact with the Eye of Gemini also. So let me talk about the Eye of Gemini here. So with the Eye of Gemini, You get the following benefits here: 4% precision, 4% dominance, 4% resolution, 4% vitalization, and 4% might. Let's talk about Gemini's vision. Using a supercharge in combat attracts Caster's Watch or Pollux Gaze for 6 seconds if the player is not already under the same effect, cooldown 6 seconds. So we're talking about mainly the Caster's Watch here. Healer roll restores 2%, 3%, 6% health and 0.5%, 1%, 3% supercharge every second, for supercharge abilities costing 2.5k, 5k and 10k respectively. So if you want to run a supercharge regeneration build, you want to use a 10k supercharge to give back 3% supercharge regeneration for every second. You'll be able to pull it off now because we have the Black Adam ally to help out with that, and we have those ultimate mods that also help out. So let's continue on here. When Caster's Watch expires, all friendly players within a heal for the amount of health restored by Caster's Watch. Starting Caster's Watch grants you 5% dominance, health and restoration. So it's going to do some extra healing too back to the group if they happen to stand in the green circle. So let's continue on with the last artifact. So for the last artifact, which I have at the bottom of the list here, Orb of Arion, we get 5% restoration, 4% power and 3% health when it's maxed out. With a spectral acolyte here, Orion's magic increases the effectiveness, cooldown and power cost of your priority heal by 300%. Upon casting a priority heal, you summon a spectral acolyte. Spectral acolyte casts a priority heal for 100% of your base priority heal every 1.5 seconds and lasts for 12 seconds. You may only have one spectral acolyte at a time. Spectral acolyte resists more crowd controls. So the reason why I have this artifact at the bottom of the list is because you run out of power very quickly, and the Orb of Arion doesn't work in synergy with the Page of Destiny and the Healing Ray. With the Page of Destiny, you want to be clipping your powers and using the group heal and the priority heal a lot in order to stack the Revivify for the Page of Destiny. And with this artifact, you run out of power, so you won't be able to do it. I'll demonstrate this here real quick. So I'm going to use the priority heal here and show you guys the group and priority heal. Actually, I run out of power already, you see. So you can't really use it with the Page of Destiny and the Healing Ray. You run out of power very quickly. Also, the cooldown for the priority heal is increased, so you had to wait for it a little longer. You can see there, and the draining power so quickly, it's ridiculous. If you already have this artifact and you want to use it, it's up to you, but take my advice. If you're running hard content like Elite and Elite Plus, you're definitely going to run out of power. So in conclusion, for the 3 slots, you want to use Page of Destiny, the Purple Healing Ray, and the Transformation card. For the 4th and 5th, you could use Demon Fang, the Clarion, or you could use the Scrap of the Soul Cloak or the Eye of Gemini. That's if you're planning to run a supercharged generation build. So that's it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys found this video very helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it to your friends that play these games online, and if you want, you can subscribe to the channel for more videos. Also guys, if you guys are interested, you guys could check out some of my videos here on the end screen. I'll see you guys in my next one. You guys take care.